Hi everyone, my name is Mathieu, and today's video we are going to see how to deploy a Kubernetes cluster using Cluster API and Flatcar. So this is the following of my KCD talk I gave at Munich in 2023 July, and yeah, let's see how everything works. I will follow the documentation, and for every useful links they will be in the description of the video. And last things before diving into this topic, I will cut the video for every task, time consuming. Okay, so let's go. The first things to do is to deploy a cluster. You can use whatever cluster you want. I'm going to use Pine to deploy locally. And this is going to act as a management cluster. So now the cluster is deployed. This is really a low-level cluster. You can just have a control planes deployed. So we can now turn it into a management cluster, the meaning of Cluster API. But before doing this, we need to export the ignition experimental variable. So this allows us to consume ignition when we're going to deploy Flatcar, because Flatcar uses ignition for the provision. So we can now actually turn this cluster into a management cluster. Perfect. We now have the management cluster. So we can continue. We now need to export some variables in order to configure the generated cluster configuration, the workload cluster configuration. So one of the most important variable is the Flatcar image name we want to use. So this image has been built using the image builder, and it has been uploaded to the OpenStack infrastructure. Um, Keep in mind that you need to build it locally, but we are working now to generate these images using the CI of Cluster API, OpenStack provider, or other resources. But the idea would be to have it directly without building it locally. So all these variables are available in the documentation. So we just source my file to export them. And we should now be able to generate the cluster configuration using the Cluster API CLI. And let's go. We can now apply, as usual, these resources. So now the management cluster is going to create everything we need in OpenStack to host the Kubernetes cluster. So the machines, the security group, everything we need to have a cluster. We can already see if we have a control plane. So this one is getting deployed. So we are going to wait a couple of seconds before deploying the rest of the components. Okay, we can continue. So I'm now going to deploy the external cloud provider. Let's export the cluster name, fetching the kubeconfig, and let's deploy a CNI. To use the things, it's going to be Calico. Perfect. So Calico CNI is deployed. We now can use one helper provided by Cluster API OpenStack provider. This helper helps us to generate the secret configuration used for the external cloud provider. Just need to give the path to the clouds.yaml that can be downloaded directly from OpenStack. And we can actually create this secret. Nice. can now create the external cloud provider. Okay, and let's see if everything works as expected now. So we have one control plane, two workers, uh, as expected when we generate the cluster configuration. We asked for Kubernetes 1.27.2, one control plane, and three worker machine. So this is the case. And if we check the node information, we can see that it runs Flatcar Container Linux on the version 3.5.10.2.4. This is what we wanted to do. And yeah, that's it. If you have any question, any information wanted, please feel free to ask me on Mastodon or on GitHub or in the Flatcar channel, Slack channel. Well, everything will be in the video description. And yeah, have fun hacking with Flatcar and Cluster API.